The stone hit his forehead at 100 miles per hour. Goliath, 9 feet of muscle and bronze, fell like a tree. The ground shook. And in that moment, a 17-year-old shepherd became the most dangerous man in Israel. Not to his enemies, to his king. There's a moment that comes for everyone. When you're standing in front of something so big, so impossible, that every logical voice in your head says, "Turn around." This is a story about that moment, and about a teenager who decided not to listen. 3,000 years ago, in a valley between 2 hills, 2 armies stood frozen. Not by strategy, by fear. They'd been there for 40 days, 40 mornings of the same ritual, 40 mornings of watching courage die a little more. Footsteps echo across the valley. Massive, heavy, metal scraping stone. A figure crests the Philistine ridge. Goliath over 9 feet tall. Bronze armor catching sunlight like fire. A spear the size of a weaver's beam. His presence bends the atmosphere. He stands at the valley's edge, voice rolling like thunder.
40 days! Choose a man then sent it out to me!
The challenge echoes across the hills. 1 warrior against him. Winner takes all. He turns and walks away. Slow, unbothered, completely in control. Across the valley, the Israelite camp sits in paralyzed silence. Men avoid each other's eyes. Their king is Saul, tallest man in Israel, anointed by God himself. The obvious choice. He doesn't move either. Because here's the thing about giants. They don't have to beat you. They just have to show up. Day after day. Until fear becomes normal. Until the impossible becomes accepted. Sound familiar? 15 miles away, life continues as it always has. Golden hills, blue sky. A flock of sheep moving across rocky terrain. A young shepherd sits on a boulder, watching the horizon. His name is David, 17, maybe 18. The youngest of 8 brothers. The one who got left behind when everyone else went to war. His father climbs the slope carrying a heavy pack. 3 of David's brothers have been at the front for weeks with no word. Jesse tells his son to take supplies to his brothers. See how they are. Bring back news. Then come home. But there's worry in the old man's eyes. Something unspoken. The next morning, David arrives at the valley. He expects a war camp, strategy, urgency, preparation. Instead, he finds men waiting to die. Thousands of soldiers sitting in silent groups. No energy, no purpose, just existence. Then he hears it. That voice, booming across the valley. Goliath, issuing his daily challenge. Mocking. Daring. David pushes through soldiers to see. Across the valley stands the giant. Massive. Gleaming. Impossible to miss. He looks around. Thousands of trained warriors. Not one moves. David asks a nearby soldier how long this has been happening.
40 days. 40 days and no one has answered.
David stares in disbelief. Everyone else saw an impossible obstacle. David saw a question no one was answering. David finds his brothers near a fire. The reunion is cold. Eliab, the oldest, demands to know what he's doing there. David explains their father sent supplies. Eliab tells him they're fine and he should leave. But David asks about the giant. Does he do this every day? His brothers explain what should be obvious. Fighting Goliath means certain death. David doesn't understand what he's looking at. David presses. What does the king offer to whoever defeats him? A nearby soldier answers. Wealth, the king's daughter, freedom from taxes. And still no one goes. David speaks quietly, almost to himself.
Who is this man, that he should defy the armies of the living God?
The question hangs in the air. No one answers. But the question spreads. But David had learned something the soldiers hadn't. Fear is loudest when you're standing still. And he'd been moving toward predators his entire life. Within an hour, word reaches the king. King Saul sits in his tent, exhausted from 40 days of paralysis. When his commander tells him a shepherd boy wants to fight Goliath, Saul laughs. Bitter. Broken. But he's also desperate. He agrees to see him. David enters. Younger than Saul expected. Smaller. Covered in road dust. The king studies him, seeing only suicide. He tells David that giant has been a warrior longer than this boy has been alive. David acknowledges the truth. But he points out that staying here is also death. Just slower. Saul asks what makes him think he can do what trained soldiers won't. David chooses his words carefully. When he's alone with his father's sheep, he explains, sometimes predators come. Lions, bears, bigger and stronger than him. If he runs, the sheep die. So he doesn't run. He's killed both, he tells the king. No one saw those battles. No one cheered. Just him and God. And every time, God delivered him.
That man out there is bigger than a lion, but he's not bigger than God.
Silence fills the tent. Saul saw something in that moment. Someone who hadn't learned to be afraid yet. Someone who'd been tested in private, where there's no glory, only survival. Saul agrees, but insists David wear armor. Attendants bring the king's personal armor, bronze helmet, chest plate, sword. They fit David. The helmet slips over his eyes. The chest plate hangs loose. The sword drags on the ground. David tries to walk, stumbles. He tells them he can't fight in this. It's not his. He removes it all. He's not a soldier, he says. He won't pretend to be. The world will always try to give you armor that doesn't fit. Expectations, roles, versions of success that aren't yours. The bravest thing you can do is take them off. David kneels at a stream running through the valley, tests stones in his palm. Too rough, too light, too brittle. He finds one that fits perfectly. Smooth, round, the right weight. He chooses 5 stones total, each one carefully selected, tucks them into his shepherd's bag, stands, breathes, and walks into the valley. Both armies watch in complete silence. David descends, staff in one hand, sling in the other. Thousands of eyes follow him. Then, Goliath emerges. His shield-bearer spots David first, points. Goliath follows his gaze, then laughs, deep, mocking, incredulous. He advances with massive strides. Goliath slows. The boy is speaking.
Am I a dog that would come at me with sticks? Come here, boy. I'll give your fleshes to the birds and the beasts.
David doesn't respond, doesn't run, just keeps walking. 50 feet apart now. David stops. His voice cuts clear across the space.
You come with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied.
Goliath slows. The boy is speaking.
Today, God will hand you over to me. I'll strike you down. And the whole world will know there is a God in Israel. This battle isn't yours, it's God's, and it's already over.
Let's pause here for a second. Because if you miss what's happening here, you miss everything. David isn't hoping this works. He isn't wishing Goliath will fall. He isn't trying to manufacture confidence he doesn't feel. He already knows how this ends. Not because he's delusional, because he's been here before. In the pasture, alone, where confidence gets built. The lion didn't care that David was young. The bear didn't care that he was small. They came anyway. And he had to decide, run or stand. Every single time he stood. Every single time God showed up. So when Goliath charges, David isn't guessing. He's remembering. Goliath's smile vanishes. He charges with a roar. David reaches into his bag, pulls out a stone, fits it into his sling. The giant closes the distance. 20 feet, 15, 10. David spins the sling. Faster. Releases. The stone flies, strikes Goliath's forehead. The giant's eyes go wide. He stumbles. 1 step, 2, then falls. The ground shakes. Silence. No one moves. David walks forward, stands over the fallen giant, picks up Goliath's own sword, and finishes what he started. Both armies remain frozen. Then an Israelite soldier screams. Another joins. Then another. The entire army erupts. 40 days of fear breaking all at once like a dam. The Philistines turn and run. But David doesn't move. He stands in the valley, breathing, staring at what just happened. In less than a minute, everything changed. The impossible became done. The giant became mortal. Later that day, the camp transforms. Celebration, music, laughter. David sits alone near a fire. Soldiers approach constantly, thanking him, asking how he did it. From across the camp, his brother Eliab watches. Pride mixed with envy. In his tent, King Saul sits among celebrating advisors, but his eyes stay fixed on David. Not celebrating, calculating. Victory solves one problem, but it creates others. The same people who wouldn't fight beside you will want to stand next to you after. The system that rejected you will try to claim you. And the king who needed you, he'll start to fear you. David walks back to the stream alone, kneels, washes Goliath's blood from his hands. David didn't know it then, but this was just the beginning. Killing the giant made him famous. It also made him a target. The next 15 years would be spent running, hiding in caves, hunted by the very king he'd saved. David stares at his reflection in the water. But here, in this moment, he was just a kid who saw something wrong and decided to do something about it. The giants you face won't wear armor. They'll wear deadlines, diagnoses, debts, systems that say you're not enough. They'll show up every day, mocking, daring you to try. And everyone around you will have already made peace with fear. Maybe your giant is the business everyone says will fail. The relationship you're too scared to pursue. The apology you've been avoiding for years. The creative dream you've buried under being realistic. The diagnosis that's making you give up before you've even fought. Maybe it's the person in the mirror who keeps telling you you're not qualified enough, not strong enough, not chosen enough to step into the valley. Whatever it is, it's been standing there. 40 days, 40 months, 40 years, asking the same question. Who's going to face me? And everyone else has made peace with the standoff. You don't have to be the strongest, the tallest, the most qualified. You just have to be the one who shows up. So here's my question for you. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready. Right now. What giant are you staring at? What valley are you refusing to walk into? What voice have you been letting mock you into paralysis? David teaches us that confidence isn't built in the valley. It's built in private. In the lions and bears no one applauds. So maybe you're not ready for the giant yet, but you can face what's in front of you today. The hard conversation, the first step, the thing you've been avoiding. Start there, because the battle is the Lord's, but you still have to pick up the stone. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What's your giant? What valley are you walking into? And if you want more stories like this that connect ancient wisdom to modern life, subscribe. There's more coming.